Hi, 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 hi. It's the last 12 days of creativity masterclass. I cannot believe, and I was just saying to Sophie that I'm very festive today because I have very red nose. It was a bit redder just a moment ago. So I'm on the festive mood of Christmas. How is everybody? Let's dive into it. Why not? Hey, couple more weeks before it's the deadline, 8th of December. 8th of December for sending your tracks. And again, reminder, it doesn't need to be a ready-made track. It can just be a sample or whatever. So 12 Days of Creativity 2024 is getting to the ending, but before you can still join, there is a link down below for my website where you can sign up for the event. And you sign up there, you get details on how to join, what's happening. And also, anyone who is part of this gets minus 25% off my online courses with the code 12DOC2024. And if you are still a bit confused how to finish a track and how can you do that in 2 weeks, if you have time to go through 7-hour course, you can literally go through my course and you can finish a track, because that's what I show in it, is how to finish a track from start to finish, all the details, how to make beats, how to do like chords, everything in Ableton Live. After that, you can master Ableton Live. Also, more than ever, this is the time for you to join my Patreon community. I have the kindest, loveliest Patreon community called Squirrel Squad, and it cannot be bad because no place that is called Squirrel Squad can be intimidating. So they are the loveliest people ever. And why I'm saying this is because if you need accountability, community, support, love, a place to vent, place to tell your emotions, we have an actual well-being group chat in there as well, where people can share about just life. And you can make actually like lifelong friends from there. So come and join, because it costs only £1. Jussi Niemi, kuulostaa suomalaiselta nimeltä, clearly from Finland, said, sometimes it takes you a long time to sound like yourself. That is the thing, and that's what we will be talking about today. So, giveaway. Why do I talk about signing up to the event? Is because you will get today from lovely Sophie, who's here as well, because you all missed Sophie last time. Sophie's there. Hey, bye. So funny every time I do that. So Sophie will send you an email that has all the deets on how you will join the giveaway. So you need to sign up through the email website event to receive that email. And you can win Baby Audio gift plugin bundle, one of my online courses, and some of my merch, which is so cute merch, and it's super comfortable because it's so organic. And the person sharing most about the process on social media also wins my merch and online course. Fun. So, who's done these? People are defending you, Sophie. You're so mean. Poor Sophie. This is too restless today. It's the last session. Oh. Oh my god. Whew. And yes, I am Finnish. Suomalai torille. Oh my god, I am just, oh sorry. Okay, I need to collect myself again. It's the last session, so forgive me. We are talking about being yourself today, and that this is me being myself online in front of people. So 12 days of creativity tasks. During these sessions, I've been giving you tasks. And how many of you actually done any of these? How many of you have been doing the process. I'd love to hear about that, because we've been studying the type of music we want to do. We've been doing workflows, which are my favorite and so important. And we've been doing learning about divergent and convergent thinking models, and so on. So if you are still wanting to do all these steps, go back in the playlist and watch these sessions, and you can still do the challenge. And even if you're watching this later on in the year 2028 or something, you can still do it. Today's task is finish your track, sample, whatever you have been making, just do it. Just finish it. And submit it to me before midnight, 8th of December. And it does not need to be ready. Something you love or full track. Just whatever you made, just submit it. Because the point of this challenge is not to make something you love or something that is necessarily finished. Just, it's more about you figure out for yourself how you take creatively, and where does the creative blocks, why are they happening, and what you can do about it. So it's about, you need to submit a little story with it as well. So I'm not judging who's made a good track and who's made a bad track. It's not about that. You don't win if you with a track. You win with the story about yourself. Sorry, I feel really warm. DistroKid, thank you for sponsoring this event. It has been absolute pleasure of having DistroKid as a sponsor, because without DistroKid we would not have been able to make this. So thank you so much. Let's get going into it. Find your sound and yourself as an artist. One of my favorite topics, and something that I've been very passionate about talking about in the recent years, because I've gone through this process. I've gone through it. I got the t-shirt. I've been there. I've literally have been so lost for so many years as an artist. And now I can happily say that I'm in a place where I know where I'm going. I know where I belong in the industry, at least more better than I did like a year ago. It's a journey and I'm still on it. So I can't be 100% place, because I don't think anyone is ever, but I've learned so much that I want to share with you today, as how to find more love for your art and more peace, I think, with the industry. So I'm going to talk about through my story, and here is a memory lane. So lost with my art. Who am I as an artist, and where do I belong to? And the issue is that we are multifaceted people. We are so many people. We are so many versions of ourselves throughout the history of our existence. I am still the person who's here on the left top corner with the shaved head. That's 2013 or 14 or something. So like 10 years ago, me playing ukulele that I was busking on the streets of Salisbury and Glasgow, earning my rent. I'm still that person who was, doing folky stuff. I'm still the person who's here on the top right corner wearing a chicken costume when I was 16 years old on a stage in the theater, in a local theater, because I was totally going to be an actress, especially with that costume. I'm still, the person who started YouTube with this bleach blonde hair, because those are all the versions of me. And I'm still the person who does tutorials, and I'm now the person who learned to DJ and who does music, learn to love melodic house. But that's the thing, is when we're in the industry and it tells you to be in a box, how can you, from all these different versions of you, how can you suddenly put yourself into one identity? Because you are a lot more than that. You are the history of yourself and who you became, like from a child to a young adult to an adult, or whatever age you are. You are so many things and you are so many identities. And even though you change, you're still so much. And I think that is what creates a lot of confusion, right? it creates because like the industry and the image that you want to be, but same time, how can you be authentically in it if you are so many things? So I am many things, but the industry wants us to be a brand. So these are some stuff that you might have heard to be said to artists. You might have heard some of these things. Just do one genre. So you're not allowed to do a lot more than one. Define color palette. Be a brand. Post certain way on Instagram. You need to have certain type of this and that and do this kind of promo. So you suddenly become a PR person because you need to know everything about marketing and how you need to present yourself and your outfit, the color of your hair, and so that you belong and you attract certain type of audience. So if you are, example, queer and artist, then how do you attract queerness around you so that people know you're a queer artist? Or how do you be this or that? So there's a certain like constant imagery that is kind of putting messages that are defining how we're supposed to look, act, say, do whatever to be something for other people. Be consistent with your content you make. Be consistent. Make it all the time. Be unique, but don't be too unique. Be in a box, but be uniquely in the box. And how freaking confusing is that? Firstly, there's so much in that to unpack, that the whole thing. And especially if we compare to this idea that we are so many things, but industry wants us to, in a way, to be there for others, to find success, but then same time you need to be unique. But how can you be unique and still attracts a certain type of audience? How can you be that brand if you're too different from it? Suddenly you're not attracting them anymore. So that's the puzzle. And how to solve that? What I figured out is that what we already talked with Drum and Lace example, the chat today, is that do your art. Do your craft. Just do it. The one thing you have power over is that you can just do it. You need to keep at it. You need to keep on figure out a schedule for yourself. And like we were talking, like something that's worked for both of me and Drum and Lace is the fact that we've been organized about it. We've been, I've been talking about workflows and plans and lists and schedules, this event, since September, I've been saying about like create your self schedule, prioritize yourself and your art. And I cannot say how important that, if you want to make art, you need to find time for it. And as much as you can say that I don't have time. And some people don't. Time is a privilege for many people, that many people don't have that privilege. I understand that. I totally understand. But I always want to say, like, question that. Question if you are saying that to yourself because you feel that it's too difficult for you to find the time, or is it something that you can work through? You can see that whether that is hour a week, half an hour every other day when you sit in a bus. Can you be creative with your phone on an app? Is there some way that you can figure out a way to put creativity into your life, in your daily life, by just being organized about your time? Just do it. Do your art. Second thing, learn about the industry and your craft. We've been talking about expectations and realistic expectations since the start. This is what it's all about. It's understanding how the industry works so that you understand what your expectations actually are and what your realistic expectations can be. So if you want to be a commercially successful person, instead of just making music and every time that you release music, you still have that little hope. We talked about this. We talked about how many of you still hope that somehow you're going to blow up. One day you're going to be found. You're the talent. You are the great person that's suddenly just going to be like, come from the, you post one thing and suddenly it just takes off and you become viral sensation. There is still that hope. And if that's the hope that you have, what's the reality behind it? What would happen? Let's say that would happen to you. Would you know how to navigate the industry? Do you know how royalties work? Would someone come and like, how do you need a lawyer? Do you need this and that and that? You know, could people suddenly take advantage of you? There's so much realities of what actually could happen. Let's say that you do become viral. Or how about your mental health? How would you suddenly deal not only with fans, but how would you suddenly deal with all the pressure and suddenly you need to give up everything else? There's so much about the industry and the idea of being a musician that you need to think about realistically if you even want for yourself. It's a lot more than you just sit by your computer or by your instrument, make music, and suddenly people love it. There's so much more that goes into it. So learn about the industry and what do you actually want out of it. And then the equal sign is, so if you do your art and you learn about the industry, equals define what you want from both above. So learn, where do you stand with all of it? Make up your own mind. Where do you want to take it? Where do you want to be with it? Do you even want to have it as a career or do you want to have it as a side hustle? What do you want to do with your art? Why do you make art? Who do you make it for? I think these questions are more important than anything else like this is kind of summarizing a lot of the stuff that we already talked about in this whole event. Let's talk about, I'm talking about this through now, example me. I'm the example of this case. Case study, Lina, or LNA. Do your art. So my background is that I've done music all my life. I grew up playing violin since I was 5. I went to music-oriented schools. I was very privileged to obviously have these kind of opportunities since I was very young. I never wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be an actress. So I was like, I hate music when I was a teenager. And then end up living in Glasgow, end up going to undergrad for music, fell in love with studios and music production and onwards. And here we are. Throughout this whole experience, I've never fully understood why people love music the way that I feel like they love it. I always felt lost because I saw people making music and loving it and listening to it and having very personal connections with it. And they had really strong identities. They were the rock person, or they were the heavy metal person, or they were the pop person. And I never had that in my life. I never identified myself with certain type of music. And it made me very confused. So I did the whole ukulele thing. I did the whole classical music thing. I was a songwriter that I did more like, I would say, politically charged songs at one point. And then I found music production, which allowed me to then start doing live looping. So on the picture on the top left corner, that's one of my early videos on my YouTube channel where I show how to do live looping sets. The mid one was also a live looping set, and now I've taken it to a completely different direction, like learning DJ and hybrid sets and so on. And the thing is that throughout all these years, one thing has not changed, is that I've kept on doing it. I kept on doing it in one way or another, and I end up doing it as my job. But how I end up doing it before it was my job, I end up, I played on the street, or I kept on just playing at people, even if they didn't want to listen. It was just who I was. So it was just a big part of me that, I was making joke songs to my friends in Finland when I moved to Glasgow. And, it was just it's just always been part of who I am. And it's been a journey now from like, I feel only in the past year, I've started to actually figure out what do I love about music. So for me, it's taken my whole life, so over 30 years, to figure out where I want to be as a musician. And it's been active looking, active practicing, actively searching for it. And the past year that I've been doing track per month was because I wanted to learn. I wanted to know, like, I need to figure this out. I really need to. And that's why I have been making one track per month, because that's been actively doing my art, actively putting myself out there, being organized about it, having a schedule, being like, as much as I can learn to live loop, I can have all these techniques, but I still didn't I didn't have the love and passion that I wanted to have for it. And I needed to figure it out. And now I do understand it a lot more because I've been proactive about it and scheduled in. Sometimes finding what you love can take time, but just keep trying, keep exploring, try new things. Don't feel embarrassed to try new things. Whatever age you are, whatever background you are, just if something fascinates you, just go for it. And be patient and keep at it. Because the only person that stops you from your dreams is yourself. So if you keep at it, you will get wherever you want to be or where you need to be. Second, learn about your industry and your craft. So one thing for me was that I would say that the last 5 years, more than that, decade has been just about learning music production. And now I needed to learn the industry, because as much as I grew up around making music, I didn't understand music genres or the industry at all. I didn't listen that much music, so I didn't really understand what's even there that I would be into it, because I really struggled connecting with certain type of music until this year, because I found house music and I found chill house, organic house, melodic house, and progressive house, and kind of electronical world as well. And suddenly I was like, wow, this whole world opened to me. And I was like, oh, this is how it feels to truly connect with music. This is how it feels to feel it, and more than just, oh, that's cool. It was like, it became something so much more. And now I listen so much music. So as I said, I was very proactive about this year of making one track per month. And each month I studied playlists, other artists, how the music industry worked. I learned about house music, some subgenres, and what is required to get commercial success in these genres. Because the thing is, it doesn't mean that I wanna do all these things, but I need to know the rules of the game so that I know if I even want to play them. But you don't know them if you don't study them. And they exist. The rules of the industry do exist. It's more than just, hey, go and network, or hey, do this, or hey, put a color palette for your Instagram. There's so much more in the industry that you can learn if you dive into what people are doing, not just what people are saying. Because in education, in mentoring, in so much, there's a lot of people talking who are not actually actively in the industry working right now. There's a lot of advice from people who are not actually doing it. I feel like a lot of my previous educators, unfortunately, I felt like there was just a lot of people who used to be famous in 80s or 90s, but they're not actively right now doing it. So they don't know how industry works right now. But by looking at the people who are currently working as artists, I learned more than I ever learned before. I started following artists and I started to Google, okay, who are they signed for? I started to ask questions. I started to do interview series. I started to be curious about how are they making their money? How are they working? How are they doing things? And you can do that as well on your area that you're interested in. You just need to be pragmatic about the time and study and just dive in and be like, how does this work? And ask questions. And that's how I found artists that I'm really big fan of now. And I found a lot of answers. So when we combine this, my musical experience and learning about the industry, what does that include? After being consistent with my art and studying the industry, I have learned some stuff. I have learned that I love chill house scene, but otherwise EDM scene is not for me. There's a lot of toxicity and stuff that overwhelm me in the EDM scene that I'm not really a big fan of. But there's a lot of stuff in it that I feel like I can find my place. What does that mean in reality? It means that I understand now how the scene works, the rules of the game. But I can also say those rules are not for me because I feel uncomfortable with those ones. But these ones I'm happy to play with a little bit because I feel comfortable there. So it's also understand where your boundaries go and who you are and how are those rules serving you. So the first thing you always need to do is take care of yourself and your health and your mental health and figure out who you are as a person, what kind of things you value. Example, I want to be on a festival, the 1 p.m. artist. I don't want to be the 1 a.m. artist. I want to be there sober. I don't want to have any substance use. I don't like it. I don't want to be near it. I just want to chill out in a sunset and play chill house music. That's how I feel comfortable. And that's okay. And that's where I figure out I can be loving what the music that I do. And when it comes to like loving the topic of the day, it means that me figuring this out means that I don't need to make music for the people that I don't even want to please. So I don't need to adapt my music right now to please the people that make the 1 a.m. music, that make the 10 p.m. music. Because I want to make the 5 p.m. where people are sipping still coffees and teas. Those are the people I want to please, not the 1 a.m. ones. Okay, I prefer DJing my own music or doing chill house electronic sets without too much looping. So all these years I've been doing a lot of live looping, live performances, and I always felt anxiety around it. And I always felt like I still need to do it because that's what you're supposed to do if you are in this kind of area. But then I realized I don't need to do it because actually DJing I enjoy it a lot more, but I enjoy doing my own music. And I know now, because I studied the industry, that there is people who do that. Like Ben Bomer is one really good example, an artist who does that. And I'm like, well, if he does that, and he does hybrid sets and all that, like I can do that. So I learned that there's someone else who does that. I learned that that's possible. That sounds cool. Okay, sign me in. Sign me up. I want to do music full time, but also my creative confidence life coaching practices. So I've learned by studying all this is that I don't want to be the 10 p.m. headliner. That's not for me. That life is not for me. That lifestyle is not for me. I'm also very, very passionate about talking about people's creative confidence and help life coaching and build that practice and write more books, because writing that one book was great and it comes out next year and I want to do that more. Meaning I'm not going to have time to do the 10 p.m. gigs and do a lot of traveling and like tours. I don't want to do that. So what I'm saying again with this is that instead of having this goal and thinking goals and thinking I need to just adapt myself for the industry, I learned what the industry is like. And I see, okay, who I want to be and how do I fit in all of that, and how can I then make a plan for myself? And need some water. Just a moment. So Now knowing all this, I can ease into my own artistry without feeling lost or do exactly the art I want within my own boundaries. Boundaries are a great thing. Children learn about boundaries nowadays, and millennials learn about it in their 30s. But that's fine. I'm learning about now about my boundaries, and I think everybody else should as well. It's great. Okay, let's talk about Helsinki bus station theory by Arno Minkkinen. It's one of the greatest theories about this whole topic, finding your sound. So Arno Minkkinen is a photographer who talked about this in this one speech, and since then it's been taking off and it's great. Let's say that there is the Helsinki bus station, which has a lot of platforms where you have a lot of bus leaving with different numbers. There is different platforms, and the buses first go all the same kind of stops throughout the center until they get to the edge of the city center and they start going to their different, very different journeys to the countryside and different cities and so on. So this is what this means. The metaphor. At Helsinki's bus station, all buses initially follow the same routes before diverging. Similarly, in the creative work, we often first follow the same paths, learning that the craft before finding our own identity and voice as artists. So we all go to the platforms, we decide where do we want to live. So example, I went to, music production platform and I was like, hello, I'm signing up for this bus. Let me learn this craft. And I was sitting on the bus, going all these different stops. And I saw other people on there as well. And I was like, okay, these people want to learn about music production as well. That made me start to maybe compare myself to them a little bit. Okay, that person is doing that kind of thing. That person is doing that kind of thing. Maybe I need to also do that. Maybe I need to start live looping because that person is live looping. So I started to look at the skills and I started to each stop by stop learning new things about the industry. But at this point, I felt like I was not really being unique. I was not really being myself. I couldn't really know where to go with it. The challenge, many people abandon their path prematurely, thinking their work isn't original or not good enough, etc. Then they return to the bus station to start over. So what happens is that you go to the inner circle, but you just stay in the center for a long time. Either you do your craft so rarely that you end up staying in the bus for years, but you end up staying in these first couple of stops because you leave it for so long. But if you do it more, you start going through this journey and you're like, okay, this is what happens on this line. You can then go back. It's not always giving up going back to the station. It's sometimes realizing that maybe that line wasn't for you. You didn't want to go that way. Sometimes you want to go to the next one, the different number, and you learn what's in there and so on. But the thing is, the solution, stay on your bus. Over time, what have you learned from others in the industry, your unique perspective and voice will emerge and your path diverges naturally, leading to originality. Originality or originality. Yes. You will be original. So if you just stay on the bus, you stay on the bus. Year after year, you stay on the bus, you will learn how this line goes. Example, music production. And let's say that the first one for me, example, was music production. Or music, probably. Then I learned music production. Then I learned, example, how mix things, how, record things, how all these different stops were different topics and different years of learning and crafting. And then I suddenly, I learned about melodic house. I learned about these different artists. And now I know all the skills that I've learned from the inner city, and I could start going my own way and figure out who I am in this industry, who I am in this area. And the great thing is that I have been going to the bus station many times in my life. I've been going there. There was the folk moment. There was the radical, politically charged songs that I did that nobody will ever hear. There's been many times that I've gone into different buses. But the thing is that I've always same time stayed. I guess I've been like many buses at the same time in a way. Can you do that? Can you like... Yes, you can split yourself and be in many buses same time. Because one bus that I've always been is music production and music and figuring that out. And that journey I'm still on. But I have stayed and I feel like I'm here now. I'm here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, by the way, on the screen. You probably can. No. I'm there where the bus is just at the end of the inner city area. I'm there now, and I feel like I'm now starting to go to my own direction. And this is the thing, the more that you stay on the bus, and you keep on doing whatever you do, the more you will start feeling that you will start finding your sound and who you are as a person and who you are as an artist, learning from other people and learning from the world and learning the rules, and then learning which rules you want to take in and which you don't want to take in. And learning that you don't need to take anything in if you don't want to take anything in. So, creative success requires persistence. Stay in the bus. But sometimes part of you can go into a different bus and just, it's good to adventure sometimes as well. And just try different lines. But mostly just stay on it. I guess this also kind of goes a little bit with the idea of jealousy and envy, because when we're in the inner center of the buses still, what we see a lot of is we just see the other people in their stops as well. We see what they're doing. We see the people maybe going on the other line and we see, oh, those people are doing that. And that person is 3 steps in front of me. And that's where jealousy and envy comes in. But jealousy is actually pretty cool thing when you talk about this topic, because jealousy tells you more answers than you could even imagine. The people that you are jealous are the people that has something that you would like to have. That tells you something. If you don't know where to go, listen to that voice. It's not you necessarily that you want harm for that person or that person shouldn't have what they have received. It's more likely, well, sometimes it can be that as well if you hate that person or something, I don't know. But most likely, it's often stuff that you wish to have. And use that as a compass. You can look at that person and be like, okay, I feel that feeling of a little bit twist in my heart. Why do I feel that? It feels because that person is on that, doing those kind of gigs. That person is doing that kind of music. Oh, that person made that kind of synth sound and it sounds amazing. How in earth they managed to do that? How could I make that as well? So I would say that you twist jealousy around. Intentionally be happy for the person, for whatever they have created for themselves or whatever they have received for themselves. Even sometimes people just are lucky. That's great. And it's okay. But listen why you want it and then make a practical approach, workflow, plan, schedule to get to that point where that person is. Take it as an inspiration for yourself. Not as a consuming thing that consumes you and stops you. Use it as something that puts fire under your ass and puts like, oh, yes, let's do that. Let's also get in there. So, practical techniques to find your sound. Reflect on your personal influences. So I already talked about my life example. Draw to your life. Infuse your music with elements of your personal experiences, emotions, cultural backgrounds. This is something that I've been thinking a lot. I always felt like, I feel like for me, the way that I compose nowadays comes a lot from my background in orchestras, playing violin, classical music. But I'm translating a lot of that into my electronic music. So I'm almost composing electronic music the way that I would compose classical music. That's how I see it in my head, and then that's how I hear it. But also, I was never a great violinist in my life. I was actually pretty shit. But now, as an electronic musician, I can take that basic sounds and make something, add effects and modulate the violin, and I can put that together, something that I grew up playing. I can now take it into my new music. And I always felt like it needs to be part of my music. And I don't want to lose it, but I needed to find a new definition for it. So draw from, think what things are really important to you and what feels home to you, who you are as a person. Journaling and mood boards are great. Create visuals, emotional and thematic references to guide the vibe of your tracks. Look at, again, research. Look at other people. Playlists. For me, playlists has been amazing. The amount that I'm just looking at Spotify playlist, I'm listening while I'm doing something, and then when I find a track that I like, I save that and I look who that artist is, and that inspires me a lot. And I research how they make their music. That's how I've been really inspired recently. Practical techniques to find your sound. Embrace consistent practice, experimentation. Embrace consistent practice and experimentation. God, my mouth gets so dry. Yum, 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 yum. So, again, talking about being precise, you just need to do it for yourself. You need to make plans. And if you are shit at creating plans for yourself and routines, ask someone else to do that for you. That they need to make you do it. Set routine. Dedicate time to producing regularly, even if it's just an hour a day. Hour a day can be actually quite a lot. Hour a week, even if it's just an hour a week. Experiment. Use different genres, techniques, instruments to break out of your comfort zone. Explore plugins, DAWs, and sound design methods you haven't tried before. Absolutely. Expand, study, research, look into things. Analyze tracks you love. Study your favorite music to identify elements you admire. Again, are you jealous of someone's music? Like Sophie's. I've been listening to Sophie's tracks. Hi, Sophie. I've been listening to your tracks, and your tracks have always these amazing glitchy elements and stuff. And I'm always so jealous of them. I'm like, how can I make those as well? So I think I'm happy for you, but at the same time, I'm like, I want to make them as well. So that's a good jealousy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah.
I give you a compliment and then go away. Use workflows to help you stay on the direction of your goals. How much I've been talking about workflows and plans? Quite a lot. Go back to the sessions where I talk about them because they will help. Again, repeat after me. Workflows will help. They will. Just do it. Practical techniques to find your sound. Collaborate and ask for feedback. Work with other creators. Collaborating can introduce to your new perspective, ideas, and techniques. Again, reflecting other people's music, seeing how they do it. Feedback loop. Share your work with trusted peers and online communities. My Patreon is a very brilliant example of how this can help you with being consistent and finding yourself as an artist. Do not take feedback from unsolicited sources. No. Do not do this. And just because someone has credits or they are in a power position towards you does not mean that their opinion is higher than yours. Remember this. important. Nobody can tell you your music is shit. Nobody can tell you that their opinion is more valuable than yours, because it's all subjective. And if they say something as a hard truth and saying, oh, you're just weak, you need to toughen up. No, screw them. They can go be tough somewhere else. We're allowed to feel shit, and we are allowed to feel vulnerable. And also they are not allowed to say that our unique, beautiful, special voice is wrong, because it's not theirs to say. It's not theirs to decide. So, yeah, that's it. Hey, that's all the masterclasses. I would like to get some questions now, though, before we talk about submitting. Is there any questions?
There are a couple of questions. And to be honest, they're both really interesting.
Sorry, Sophie, you can do much better with the choice of friends. Help me.
SOS. Okay, let's go. Bring it back. Let's bring it back. Okay. Question 1. Did you ever think that I can't talk. Did you ever think that your years of learning instruments would lead you to producing electronic music?
No. As I said, I wanted to be an actress. Music, I did not like music. I didn't want to be music because I was never great at it. I think my dyslexia really made me struggle with music theory and like a lot of concepts. But then when I went to my master's degree, I learned about like the science of the physics of audio in a very detailed way. And I was like, oh, I like this. And I was like, oh, I'm a nerd. So it was actually the nerdiness that made me excited about all music rather than being a good instrumentalist. So yeah. I think that, yeah. But I never knew I was a nerd until I was like 26. Because nobody told me.
Yeah, it's good to be a nerd. It's good to be a nerd.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. I'm just going to kind of slide in with this one. Somebody has just asked, first of all, where can I find the last 11 masterclasses?
On my YouTube channel, there is, or under this video, there is a playlist. I think it's under this video as well, but there is a playlist on my YouTube channel. Let me just quickly look for this for you. Because oh, it's not under here. Well, on my YouTube channel, if you go to the main page and you scroll a little bit down, there is 12 Days of Creativity playlist. I found the link now. You will find all the streams from there. There we go.
Woohoo. Beautiful. Very concise. Cool. Next question. Which I really liked. I really liked this question a lot. Do you ever add samples of old work into new work as a homage to past creativity?
Ooh.
If you don't, I think you should.
I have not, but I have this idea of reproducing some of my old work. Or doing like... So example, on Spotify, you find my album Kasvutarina, which is a Finnish folky poppy album that I'm never going to delete because it's precious to me. It's how I got into music production. It's my first production ever after I did it in 3 months. It's compositions that I wrote since I was 17 to 25 that I collected into one album, and I recorded and mixed an album in 3 months with GarageBand and uni studios. with Pro Tools. Um,
Wow.
and there's this song on the first song, Alku, which means beginning, which is very precise. I remember composing that one. It's instrumental with violin and drums, and I wanted it to have like a dancey beat, but I didn't know how to make a dancey beat at this point. So I just created, oh, was it like one of those that I got from GarageBand, those like the drummer loop or whatever. It was,
Yeah.
yeah. And I always thought like it was good, but it was not exactly what I wanted then. So
Mhm.
now when I know how to do it, I thought I could compose that song again. And my brother played cello on it, and I could get like a new, completely new, like more melodic house or more electronica type of
Mhm.
composition and do Alco 2.0. So like do it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so that's kind of what I've been thinking. And there's some other ones that like in the end that I played with you, we did
Mm.
live version of it.
Yeah.
I composed that when I was 17, and it's had million versions of that song, but it's never been properly recorded. And I just want to make a proper recording and a version of it. It's a beautiful song, and I really
It
wanted
is.
to. I want to make, and we've been discussed that we need to make a version of it together, like as a
For
collaboration.
sure. Yeah, for
It's very
sure.
queer. So
It is. It
yeah.
really is. Um, yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful track. So I think you definitely should you should do that. Um, cool. Another good one, which yeah, this one's good. Do you prioritize making music on hardware versus creating something completely on Ableton? This person says that they feel like making music on Ableton is almost like cheating and therefore not perfect.
Firstly, why do you feel like it's cheating? Who told you that, and why does their opinion matter? And there's no wrong way to do creativity. So even if you do a track with phone and upload it, that's your art. That's okay. I don't use hardware more than I use Ableton Live. I use Ableton Live for everything. I depend on it, my life on it.
Mm.
I absolutely love it. I do use a lot of stock plugins. Hardware is only a thing that I've got into in a recent year. So I've actually go completely different other way around. I don't see there's nothing wrong with it. I don't even know why there would be. And it's a instrument, a tool as much as anything else.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
if someone says something different, then that's their opinion, but I don't care.
So love this, love these vibes, love these vibes. Um, Another cool one which has just come through. I love all of these questions. Can I just say I love them.
Pri-
Literally love them so much. Somebody else said, have you ever thought about creating a new subgenre or expanding on an existing one? I struggle to find my box and I don't know if I should just create a new one.
well, the thing is, how much time have you studied of finding things? Because I would be surprised if there isn't someone in the world who's doing something pretty similar than you. But also, if you don't find something, genres don't really matter. Because again, who made them? Well, it doesn't matter. So if you feel like the most important thing is that you just doing whatever you feel like doing. So I went more from the perspective of I needed to find a genre for myself. So I went through studying what's out there and then finding myself through that. But if you already know what kind of music you want to make it. And things will happen around it. Either it's already there, people will crawl from the corners of the world who also make stuff like it, and you will connect and you'll find each other. And maybe it already has a name. Or people will start calling it after you. But I personally don't care too much for genres. I think they are just a tool to play the game that I choose to play sometimes, to earn money and to make this my career. But they are just a tool. They don't identify me, and they don't define who I am as an artist or what I will do. So next year I've already thought about, like, we've been planning a collab on drum and bass, or I want to do this or that, and I'm not going to stop doing my creative ideas just because I think I'm not supposed to. Because firstly, who cares? And secondly, who made the rules? And they can, again, just go away with their rules. And I will play the game of the genres when I find it suitable for myself and when I find it benefits me. But when it stops benefiting me, I tell them to F off.
Yeah, I love this. You are an icon, an icon. And then just to finish off, because we got about 30 seconds, I think.
We can have a couple more, yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay.
I know we want to go eat.
Yeah, I always want to eat though. Somebody asked, will you do your creating a track in 1 hour again?
Yeah, it was quite popular, so I might do that next year, streams. I'm planning my next year right now, like having ideas what I'm gonna do next year, and I obviously want to continue my channel, but I need to make sure that it benefits my art and what I do. So I need to figure out how to do that the best way, and that was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it. So yeah.
Nice. And I think maybe do you want to take one more?
Yeah, one more.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I think you've kind of touched upon this, but I was just wondering if you've got any extra points, because somebody said, do you experience the artist block where you see the potential of your sound and how you want it to be, but your understanding of software is beginner? How do you approach breaking through this?
100%. I don't think there is no music producer who hasn't felt this at one point of their life. I think when you feel that you need to find love for yourself and acceptance that it takes time to be in the point where you can just turn around to your instrument and do whatever is in your head. So you need to be kind to yourself and accept that that is just a fact, and you need to simplify it, and you need to accept that you might not be able to do that sound at that moment, and it's okay. Don't let it stop you, and don't let it block you. Do something else. Create a sound that you didn't even think of, or ask a friend who knows how to make that sound. I know that they might not do it exactly, but ask or research. Figure it out. If you find somewhere, in my Patreon group example, there's a lot of people who would help you in that situation and help you to figure out how to do that. So, or just simplify it for yourself. It's okay that you don't know it yet, because how in earth can you know it yet? It's just not possible. It takes years. Like I would say 10 years comfortably to fully feel like you can do whatever's in here so about 10 years. 8 to 10.
Plus, I think if we did know everything instantly, when it came to production, where's the fun? Where's the kind of exploration,
Very good point. Because you do that a lot, didn't you? Like when you started, you just like throw at things.
I pressed buttons. Yeah, I pressed buttons and was like, does this work? I don't know. And then went with it.
But that's why I always admired you, though, that you've never let that stop you or block you. Like, because I seen your process, like from getting to know Ableton Live to now doing this as your career. And I feel like you never let that, like you've just kind of like, okay, yes, it's a sound. But also you didn't go into it expecting to translate. You were not like musician first who were composing songs and then translating those into tracks. You were just
Yeah.
exploring, because I went to the other way around. I was making tracks first and then trying to recreate those it's already in my head into production. So I needed to give that up to be able to learn to produce. I need to do like accept that I compose electronically now and not guitar first and piano first and then translate that into DAW. So maybe that's the one perspective, is that you like if the person who asks the question comes from that background where you make the track first and then try to make a recording version of it, you need to just kind of give up the idea for a while that you can't do that right now.
Yeah.
Just compose with computer like Sophie does. And then, yeah, because like for me, it took a while to accept that. This one is for Soph. Where does the serif come from in your artist name?
I knew when I started production that I wanted to create I suppose like an ethereal sound with the music, and then I was like, I don't want to have angels, so what's similar to an angel but also sounds kind of cool? And there was serif, and I googled what that was, and I was like, yeah, we'll go with that. And then the cherry bit is because I just really enjoy cherries. I wish there was something that was super poetic behind it. But that's the thing about like my journey as well, is that I chose the moniker because I was too nervous to produce under my own name at that point in time. So I used the project as like a little outlet for the journey. And I think that really helped, because now I've almost like grown into the project, and it's a really cool thing.
But also it doesn't define you. You can always create other projects as well.
Yeah.
Like I have LNA, but then I have other things going on, which means that we can diversify whatever we are.
Yeah.
We can be many
100%.
things. Thank you. Hey, quickly, thank you for the input, Sophie, as well. Hey, well done, everybody. Look at this happy chap saying, yay, well done. Hey, sign up to the 12 Days of Creativity event on my website to receive the submission link for the giveaway. Again, reminding that you can win these prizes. But again, remember, it's not about how good your track is. It's about how much you developed yourself emotionally, spiritually, head-wise.
Yeah.
So it's more about that. And me and Sophie will be looking at your submissions, and we will see you in the listening party in a couple of weeks. 9th of December is listening party, where we'll be announcing the winners of these prizes, and we will listen 5 tracks that were submitted. But again, if you don't want the example to be played, you are welcome to say that you don't want whatever, because I don't want that to stop you submitting. So please let us also know if you don't want it to be played in this live stream. That's absolutely fine as well. So thank you so much. Go to the link down below, sign up to this challenge, and do your tracks by 8th of December. There is nothing that it should be or shouldn't be. Just write whatever feels comfortable to you. But I want to hear your process. I don't want to hear what plugins you use. I don't want to hear synths. I want to hear how you felt about everything. How did you challenge yourself? How did you get outside of your comfort zone? What did you do to do, like, what did you do to benefit your creative confidence this autumn and this winter? Thank you so much. And please, look at the previous ones if you're not yet. And I'm just so glad that you all joined today. And thank you. I hope this has been beneficial series for you, and more stuff next year because my book comes finally out. So a lot more this kind of content. I'm probably going to do some kind of book tour and talking about these around UK at least, and a lot of things. So you might actually catch me in real life talking about creative confidence and music production with my book.
Yeah.
So awesome. See you all later. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sophie, for your help with this whole project. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy creating stuff. And we'll see you in the listening party 9th of December.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye. Bye, 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 bye.